It was basically killing the actor in effigy for his forbidden opinions that were too right-wing. You're dealing with monsters here, basically, who are both petty in a way that you would think, well, I don't have to be afraid of these people. They're just petty and dumb. But the problem is that they have the ability to silence you on the internet. You know, that's the big problem, is like these people are running big platforms like Twitter and Facebook and Twitch. There are many opinions that I would love to express that I can't right now, just because of the platform that I'm on, you know? The tweet he was canceled for. Oh, this is the PogChamp guy. He asked a question. Huh. That's interesting. All he did was ask a question. Well, there was civil unrest over George Floyd dying, so that seems like, I don't see how that's encouraging anything, basically. It seems like he was just drawing a comparison and asking a question. Well, that's the thing, though, is like she got, you know, brutally killed, shot in the neck by a cop. Regardless of anything she was doing, you know, she didn't have a weapon as far as I know. I believe she was trying to jump through a window or something. I tell you, if she had been a left-wing person, I don't think the reaction would have been the same by the people. You know, they would be calling this a murder, is what they would be doing. But because she's right-wing, you know, and she was participating in right-wing civil unrest, of course, it's treated the way it's being treated. We're very quickly coming into what I call a two-tiered justice system, not just in the actual justice system, which does exist, by the way. I have noticed that, you know, like right-wing people, if they end up in a street brawl, end up with like 20 years in prison, and then you see groups on the other side of things doing very similar things and ending up with a slap on the wrist, you know? But that's the actual justice system. You also see a two-tiered justice system in the court of public opinion. And it's going to get worse before it gets better, man. You know, I've always advocated for things like parallel infrastructure, you know? I can't wait until there's a popular alternative to Twitch, for example. I want to be off this fucking platform so that I can, you know, be a little more candid about my political ideas without fear of being banned. And it's not even anything that's really out there. It's just that you basically cannot express anything to the right of Karl Marx at this point on major platforms without risking your whole account. I mean, no, it's not a politics channel, it's DCSS, but I'm known to talk about these things on occasion. How did we get started on this topic, out of curiosity? Don't actually remember. Someone was trying to make DCSS great again, perhaps. Oh, it's PogChamp, yeah. Well, it just feels horribly Orwellian to me, the fact that they didn't just ban the emote, they set up this thing specifically designed to stop you from using it, even on Better Twitch TV. Can anyone confirm for me that Better Twitch TV makes that stupid bullshit show up instead of the original PogChamp? I mean, it's really is. It's Soviet-era unpersoning, and it's really disgusting. And these people, I'm gonna Janny myself here and not talk too much about, you know, I don't know. I think that these fucking people should not be in charge of what people get to say. Let me leave it at that, I guess. I don't have BTTV, Mr. Ostrom, so that's not going to show up on... No, they're not trying to calm people down. I think that they're trying to unperson that guy further, is what they're doing. That's how it comes across to me. You know, because they knew people were just going to get around it. I'm overthinking. Well, am I, though? I mean, these people have a history. This group of people with these particular politics have a history of doing their best to make sure people like me with thoughts that are somewhere to the right of Karl Marx, making sure they don't exist anymore, It's called Damnatio Memoriae. That's the old Latin. I believe that's the Latin for it that they did. You know, I think it was in Rome, where any mention of that person, gone. It's a fundamentally evil thing to do. Authoritarians love that shit, you know? They love that. They love that shit. And you'll see it on the large scale where you have Twitter doing things to the actual president of the United States, leader of the free world, most powerful guy in the world. You've got some bearded dickhead named Jack Dorsey who thinks, you know, who apparently has the power to silence the leader of the free world. You know, you see it on a large scale. You see it on a small scale in things like DCSS, where you've got, you know, Marxists like the devs who run DCSS, making it so you cannot link my videos, which occasionally devolve into politics, but mostly are just me talking about DCSS and teaching people to play it properly if they want to win. You cannot mention my videos on the Discord for roguelikes. You, I assume, will be banned from the subreddit these days, the DCSS subreddit, if you mention me. They certainly took me off the sidebar for political reasons. It's just another form of damnatio memoriae. You just can't avoid this shit on the small scale or the large scale. You gotta keep your mouth shut and be a good little boy and don't profess any ideas to the right of Karl Marx because you're gonna get canceled. It's fucking horse shit. And I don't really know what the solution is long term, because the problem is that due to network effects, first mover advantage and all that good stuff, you've got companies like Google, which essentially control whether you can have a successful platform anywhere. All right, we just finished Shoals during that little chat, and apparently I got the rune. I don't even remember picking it up. I guess the end vault, so to speak, was not... God, where was it? Was it in here? No, there's no way. It must have been up here, I guess. Must not have been a very packed vault for me to just kind of autopilot my way through it. Oh, I would not have a Twitch account, probably. I've not broken their terms of service, but that doesn't matter. I've expressed discontent with leftists. I've expressed discontent with the management, and I've pointed out their inconsistencies. I promise you, you're absolutely right. If I had 10,000 followers, I'd be fucking banned. It doesn't matter that I'm very careful to avoid breaking their toss. These people are bloodthirsty vampires, basically. They want to drain you dry, essentially. Well, that's the problem, though, Pezzer, is, like, I would love to drop politics and just have these people leave me the fuck alone, and I leave them alone, and we all just kind of quietly hate each other. But the problem is that they have the ability to cancel me, shut down my accounts. Let's do what I said I was going to do a while ago. Let's use the condenser vein. And basically keep me from existing online in any real way. So it's unavoidable. You can't get away from it. I mean, again, I can quiet down and be a good boy and not talk about any of this stuff. But I promise you, sooner or later, it's going to come to me whether I like it or not. Oh yeah, censorship is absolutely going to get worse. So yeah, Tremor Stones plus Condenser Vein is actually pretty sweet versus this vault, I have to say. Just killed every single Oclob plant super easy. Oh, I agree entirely, Elatrion, my friend. Better to live free, right? Alrighty, we are super strong now. Just outrageously strong. With the +2 barding. Look at our resistances. Really legit. No arc core, but I can get it if I want to. In fact, I probably should. Let's pick up the preservation. Why not run around? I'll trade 1 AC for that. No big deal. Well, China is very physically repressive, whereas in America, they just find ways to use private companies to make it pretend, make reality sort of conform to their ideal vision of people like me not existing. Okay. Is being harassed by who, Elatrion? Dare I ask? Alright, we have 3 blink now. That's amazing. We still need gloves, and there's basically no reason for me not to buy the gloves now. I have 7,500 gold, which is crazy. I mean, this character just has the game lined up for him, essentially. 31 AC, full ass resistances. MR is still a problem, but Sigatuvi's Embrace I'm probably not going to buy. I just would rather have I'd rather have my AC all the time. I don't really know how much AC you end up getting from the Embrace ability, but okay, so it was an old spell, Sigatuvi's Embrace. They've made an armor out of it now, which resists miasma, has RN+, and is Star Drain, but then also when you kill stuff, I guess that it casts the old spell, sort of, and turns the corpses into AC. Now, our miasma, I assume, I don't know if that makes you immune to it. I hope it does. That would make it kind of worth wearing. That's the breath that the Death Drakes have. Oh, the Caves of God community. Those people, the people who run that community, and this is not an exaggeration, this is straight from the horse's mouth, they are authoritarian Marxists. They are communists. If you look at their chats or whatever, they admit to it. They are as authoritarian as you can possibly get. Very, very dangerous individuals. And yes, I do believe that if they had the chance, they would very much take things to an extreme, which is horrible, but the rules don't seem to apply to those people. Without lockdowns, people would be dying by the millions. Am I allowed to disagree with that on Twitch, I wonder? Is that even a thing that I'm allowed to do? To be honest, it's like COVID is one of those topics where it's like you can't even speak about it unless you toe the party line about masks, about everything. If you say anything against it, you're risking your account. Now, see, I don't know. You say, yeah, you think you would think I would be fine to offer an opinion, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Well, let me put it this way. I have never been, let's go to Elf. I have never been of the mind that the truth needs to be enforced from the barrel of a gun. And what I mean by that is that if you have to silence people, if you have to ban them from things, if you have to arrest them, which is what's happening in less free countries like Australia, they're going into people's houses, fining them like $15,000 for Facebook posts. If you have to do that shit, if you have to put people in prison, fine them tons of money, and basically make their lives hell for refusing to buy into whatever shit you're selling them, about anything, by the way, just in general, about anything. If you have to do that, something's a little wacky. Something's going on. Yeah, there are people in Australia who are going to prison because they broke lockdown to go get medication. They just wanted to go get medication. They were sick, or they had a condition that they needed medication for. Doesn't matter. There are people in, I think it's Melbourne, who it's indistinguishable from living under like a fascist regime over there in some ways. $15,000 fines. I saw a picture where some guy went camping on like out in the middle of nowhere, and they sent a goddamn helicopter to go give him a ticket for breaking lockdown. That makes sense, you know? Yeah, there are certain things in Europe where if you, if you have illegal opinions, you can go to prison. Absolutely true. It's just, if you have to enforce a belief and silence people from behind the barrel of a gun, it's not right. It's not right. How can anybody argue differently? No, there are certain things you will go to prison for saying in Europe, and I'm not talking about inciting violence. It's a fact, and I'm not even necessarily talking about COVID. I'm not going to offer any more. Let's drop the potions of brilliance. I'm not going to offer any more description of what I'm talking about. But I promise you, there are things you can say in Europe that will get you sent to prison that have nothing to do with violence. It's monstrous. I don't care what it is. It's monstrous. All right, he has chain lightning. This is not B-crawl. So the right thing to do versus Nicola is you want to have at least one ally around to absorb some of that lightning, even if you have Arlek, because 264 damage. That's a lot, even if it gets reduced by our elec. We could also silence, but I think we're safe with a buddy. The buddy system. Okay. Guess I didn't have to buy that cloak. Yeah, see, hate speech is a thing that they're trying to sort of invent in America too. But the Supreme Court has ruled time and time again, there is no exception to the First Amendment for hate speech. And the problem is, the biggest problem is that the definition of hate speech seems to change every single time I hear somebody talking about it. It becomes more and more restrictive until finally, like there are certain things, and again, I'm not going to say what, because if I did, I'd probably get my fucking account banned, but there are certain things that you just cannot criticize anymore, certain lifestyles, shall we say, or you're just hateful. You're a bad person at that point. And eventually, I promise you, even in America, eventually you will start getting fined, you'll start going to prison. The First Amendment is basically a big middle finger to every authoritarian because it allows your average person to sort of deny the gestalt, which is something that the powers that be do not want to be possible. They do not want you to be able to dissent about anything, and what really gets me is the people who really call for all this cancellation and stuff. They act like they're these rebels, basically, but in reality, it's a group of people who share the same beliefs. Let's condenser vein. I don't really want to get paralyzed here. They share the same beliefs that are being touted by every single mainstream corporation, dude. My big question is not, will this stuff happen? As you say, it's a matter of time. And this is why I'm so, you may seem like I get pretty worked up about it, because this is the future for me, this is the future for my kids when I choose to have them, this is the country that I'm in, and I foresee this getting so repressive that it's not going to be a place that you want to live. You are not going to want to live in a Western country once this stuff goes to its logical conclusion. It should terrify you, and it should be something at the forefront of your mind at all times, because these people have all the power in the world, and I promise you, they are only going to get stronger. It will be, yes, it will look almost exactly like 1984, only worse. On a long enough timeline, I can pretty much promise you that. And in some ways, we're already there, in some ways. In 1984, they talked about, in that book, there were these three countries, right? East Asia, Oceania, where the book took place, and then a third one, I think it was Eurasia. And they would be at war. Oh, hey, it's my boy Wesley. He's here to hear me ranting about politics. Based. Wesley LaFleur is the artist who made the cover for my fantasy novel. Very cool, very smart guy. Soon I will be getting his advice on growing sprouts. And feel free to shill your DeviantArt there if you'd like to. Where was I going with my 1984 thing? Oh yeah. So there were these three countries, right? And two of them were always at war with the other one. And essentially the idea was to keep a forever war going at all times, because that was a good way to get rid of their excess economy and keep their citizens essentially in a world of shit. Because you wouldn't... Oh, whoops, we got a bist. That's okay. You wouldn't want your people to have too many goods or whatever, right? That would give them the free time to maybe think about opposing certain things. So, anyway, God, we ran into an apocalypse crab almost immediately. Jeez. And then occasionally, they would, in the book, they would change out which two countries were fighting the third, essentially to keep the balance of power in order to keep the forever war going. Not terribly different than what we're doing in the Middle East and have been doing since 9/11. Just a nice little forever war. Horrible if you think about it, but it feeds the military-industrial complex. Not too dissimilar. Wow, so a Deva, an apocalypse crab, and a Deva. Oh yeah, it's insane that we've been, it's insane and horribly unethical that we've been at war for decades, and we just kind of accept this as a normal state of affairs. It's outrageous. It's outrageous, and people try to shit on Trump like he's some kind of evil guy, but he's the only candidate who wanted, as far as I know, the only viable candidate who wanted to get us out of that stuff. And when he tried to draw us down, the generals were quite literally lying to him about how many troops were in these other countries. And it's crazy to me that, I lived through the Bush years, right? And I remember back then, lefties were very anti-war, and I was right there with them. I identified mostly as a libertarian back then. What's the AC on these guys? Not very good. Cool. That means we can do this. And they hated Bush because he just was attacking Iraq and didn't really have a whole lot to do with 9/11. If you mention 1984 on Twitter, you'll be canceled for it. Maybe. But anyway, I see that because Trump is, I guess, evil, you can't give him any props for trying to get us out of the forever wars, I need to blink. Let's see if we can't cast. Hey, guess what? That translocations training really came in handy. Let's fog. This is ugly as shit. Oh, no. Please don't. Okay, good. I didn't want to get hellfired. We need the telly to kick in. I'm in a bit of a corner here. Why don't we... Ambrosia. Fahrenheit 451. Yeah, people don't talk about that book. I guess 1984 was a lot better, at least in my opinion, but it's still a pretty good book to read. I enjoyed the fact that firemen existed to set fires rather than fix them in that book and that novel. It was like an interesting play on words. Well, that's the thing, you can't have a conversation with these people because it's always, oh, well, he's racist, he's fascist, he's this, he's that. Dude, we're gonna fucking die. Why are they hellfiring me even though this stuff is not resistant to hellfire? Did they change that? Let's heal wounds. Taking too much damage, dude. I'll heal wounds again. Confuse is over. Yeah, this is the 55th game in the streak, and I'm having a horrible time. I think they changed it, you guys. Okay, once upon a time, Hellions didn't really want to call down Hellfire if you were next to dudes who were not Hellfire immune. I've been next to the Spatial Maelstrom. Maybe they have to be demons. Yeah, I think they have to be demons. That's why this is happening. We need haste, though. I have to get haste up. Okay, good. Teleport finally happened. Well, just Control S and never play this version again. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the path. I sure wish we had regen. Too bad that doesn't exist. Yeah, it's the .26 tournament. What's up, guys? You just come in on the tail end of a very heated talk about politics, which will probably somehow get me banned from Twitch for having the audacity of expressing an opinion to the right of Karl Marx and not thinking that Trump is evil. God forbid, I know. Oh God, please no politics. You'll hear it and you'll like it. Okay, that Chaos Berserk was no good, man. Well, vigorous is a good word for it, Wesley. What? I watch Twitch to get away from that stuff. I mean, good luck, man. They bring it to you. Did you know the PogChamp emote was banned because of political reasons? The guy whose face it was turned out to be right-wing, so they wanted to basically unperson him and remove his existence. Damnatio Memoriae, as it's called. Their stated justification had more to do with people using the emote in favor of, I guess, the Capitol Hill thing, but that doesn't really make sense because you could use any emote, any hyped up emote for that. So it's what you might call a lie. It's a lie. They are not telling the truth, in my opinion. It wasn't to do with that. Well, yeah, according to what they said. Hey, okay, that's why I'm berserking all the time. I have a temp mute. And I can't cancel it off because it's purple. That is no good. Horrifying, really. I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride. Why am I still in the goddamn abyss? We've gotten so much in the way of experience. Please give me a portal out. The frog should not be controversial. It's literally just a frog. But I guess the ADL or maybe the SPLC decided that it was like a super duper right-wing thing. As though anybody who ever posted a cartoon frog is some kind of, you know, fascist or something. I don't know. This is ridiculous. It's literally just a frog. But the thing is that you look at the modern far left, which is pretty much the entire modern left, and you'll notice a consistent sort of thread, which is that they feel this sort of horrible need to erase anything that mocks them or stands against them in any way. And so they exercise great amounts of power to make sure that happens. They look across the internet and they say, wow, we control 95% of the spaces on the internet. And do they say, yes, that's good, let's keep it this way? No, they say, holy shit, that remaining 5%, we gotta do something about that. Okay, we're gonna condenser vein. We got cold, which is good. He's not resistant to cold. I'm pretty scared, I have to say, by this Cacodemon, but I think we can melee him. Do I have 14 axes yet? Yes, I do. But I don't want to swap from my short sword. I don't want to do that because... Finally, gateway leading out. Man, that was the scariest level 19 abyss I've ever been in. My god. I've never had such trouble in abyss at this high of level. That was potentially very bad. What just happened? I just took a step up. Why am I teleported? Oh, fuck. That was the telly from the abyss. I think I had a telly going. Okay. Okay. Let's fog. Take a step up so I can't get hellfired. Let's telly again. This is so brutal, man. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. We're good. Got a nice little hallway here to chill out in. Well, it's hysteria, is what it is. Well, you might be an old school lefty, Strider. I'm talking about the modern left. Time to see what happens with Neo Drain. Okay, it takes away your max HP. And I guess you gain experience to get that back. Okay. Interesting. So we have no Arlek anymore, and we have no Arpoise. The lack of Arlek makes this place a good bit scarier to be chilling out in, but we have a better weapon, which is pretty good. I think we switched to the Cloak of Never-Ending Songs. Well, I don't know, Strider. If I express an opinion to the right of Karl Marx, do you want me to be canceled and have my Twitch suspended and all my social media accounts? Because if the answer is no, you're not the person I'm talking about. I guess I'd have to speak to you about particular issues to be sure, because when I say that, people are often like, oh, well, no, of course I wouldn't cancel you for that, and then I get into specifics and it's like, oh, well, okay, you shouldn't exist on the internet, is what I hear from these people. The problem is that corporations kowtow to these people. They bow and they scrape, and they will happily just remove you from the internet if you offend the horde, you know? It is, okay, yes, Clef, you're 100% right. It is more about being anti-authoritarian than being anti-left. With that said, when I talk about authoritarians in 2021, I'm talking about the left, largely because of the fact that show me the thing that right-wing authoritarians control right now. You know, show me the right-wing authoritarian that is affecting my life and actually has power over me. It doesn't exist. They don't have power over anything. I mean, outside of the fact that I guess you could see some kind of, you know, if it's like a dude with a gun, obviously that's horrible and shouldn't happen. And certainly that's dangerous or whatever. You see the occasional thing like that happen. and that's bad, but they don't control companies. They don't have the ability, you know, to silence mainstream thought. And so that's why you hear me talking a lot about the left, because those are the authoritarians that actually impact my life to a far greater and more common degree than any right-wing authoritarian. I guess people might make the argument that Trump was a right-wing authoritarian, but I would disagree with that for one. Holy shit, we're getting owned. Let's tally. Let's drink a heal wounds just to be totally safe. Good. Right, I mean, you had all this chaos over the last year. Cities on fire. And it was all horrible, and the media acted like it was no big deal. You know? I take issue with that. The NRA? Well, what are they doing? I mean, trying to uphold the Second Amendment? What are they doing to impact my life? You know? Are they authoritarian? Can you really call those people authoritarians? The media acted like it was horrible. As compared to the Capitol Hill thing? They're calling the Capitol Hill thing an insurrection. And they're calling it a quote-unquote riot. And I find it interesting that every time they referred to the BLM Antifa stuff, they called it a peaceful protest. There's this hilarious picture, I think it was CNN, where it says, fiery but mostly peaceful protest. And there's this picture of a reporter in front of like a burning gas station, and it says fiery but mostly peaceful. To the point where I feel like I'm having my intelligence, like, I feel like I'm being mocked by these fucking people. Because obviously it wasn't peaceful. They're burning down buildings. It's not a meme, though. It's a real photo. That wasn't photoshopped. It's outrageous, dude. It's like they're insulting all of our intelligence, and they expect us to believe this shit that, oh, well, these violent events, according to the media, are apparently okay. And in my opinion, obviously it's not okay to get violent under any circumstances. You know, but the media basically, to some degree or another, gave those people a pass and came down hard on what happened at Capitol Hill. And the thing that bothers me, I'm not even getting into the Capitol Hill thing or how I feel about it. I'm simply saying that the double standard should infuriate you. It should bother you. You should feel personally insulted that they think they can pull this shit without anybody noticing. Well, I will say it strikes me as odd to call something an insurrection when, as best as I know, there were either no or very few weapons involved. That seems like the wrong word to use to me, whatever it was. This is hilarious. Look at this. There's a box of beasts, 3 of them. I think that maybe, well, no, does this vault always drop a bunch of box of beasts? If so, that needs to be changed because, it's an experience gated consumable now, so there's no reason for there to be multiples. This might just be like weird luck though. Well, another thing that really confuses me about the Capitol Hill thing is, you know, with the amount of money that this country puts towards defense, does it seem reasonable to you that they were not able to stop a bunch of unarmed dopes, for lack of a better word, from just strolling into the White House? Just a thought that occurred to me. I'll make no further comment on that line of thought, just something to think about. Yeah, they did. I wonder why, you know. Could it be because it makes the right look dumb and violent? I don't know. I just know that when BLM or whoever those people were literally set DC on fire a few months ago, the media didn't make as big of a deal about it. You know, it's honestly hard to find information about that on the internet right now. It's almost like it's being scrubbed, you know, not to get too conspiracy centric on this stream, but it is just a little strange to me that it seems that there's a double standard. That's all I'm saying. The right doesn't need help from the left to make them look dumb and violent. That's a pretty rich thing to say after months of BLM and Antifa and people like what was that guy's name? David Dorn. You know, like deaths and injuries and fires. And every single company backing it. You had Sony on Twitter chastising this guy that was talking about how messed up it was, and he said, "Oh, well, buildings can be rebuilt." You know, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I think it's both fucked up and unacceptable to burn down a building for a political reason. I think that's wrong. Sorry. Sorry for saying something extreme, but I don't think you should burn fucking buildings down, and I don't think that you should get a pass for doing it. 7 potions of haste? Hell no. What trove was worth 7 potions of haste? No trove. Well, I think that most right-wing people are probably disowning anybody who got violent at the Capitol Hill. I don't think they should have gotten violent. I think that half of those people were probably just confused, not the ones that were causing, that were like taking shit and vandalizing the place. I think some of those people basically got led in there and then didn't know what to do. There may have been some confusion about whether they were even allowed in there, because you know that those buildings have tours every day where you can go in. I wouldn't be surprised if there were at least a few people who went in there thinking that they were not committing a felony. Not all of them, of course. Obviously, the grinning douchebag with the Speaker of the House podium knew exactly what he was doing. I mean, that's, yeah. But I don't know. I don't really understand any of that, because you're looking at like 20 years in prison for doing that stupid shit. I'm not sure what the point of giving up 20 years of your life for a funny selfie. I'm not really sure how that makes sense. So yeah, do I disavow those people? Absolutely. I consider myself right-wing, and I think those people are idiots for what they did. Just dumb, He really took a stand. Yeah, he took a stand, and that stand was, I want to spend 20 years in prison. Oh, okay, I get it. He took the stand. You got me. That's clever. I believe that's called a lectern, sir. Yeah, we've gotten some. Mr. Elstrom, his first language is Russian, so he's not getting the wordplay here, perhaps. He took a. It's called a lectern, but you might also call it a stand, I suppose. He literally stole the thing, and so stand has like a double meaning in English. Majority who. I mean, there is that argument, Inky. I'm not gonna make a comment about that one way or the other. It's possible, but it's dangerous to even discuss this stuff. Having any opinion on this that doesn't match the mainstream news puts you at risk of being silenced on the internet. It really does. Even though, I can sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face about how I don't like the violence, I don't think it should have happened, people shouldn't be committing felonies, whatever. I can say that as many times as I want. It really doesn't matter. Any questioning of the official narrative at all really puts you in danger, Let me, okay, Tremor Stones. Tremor Stones is handy in here. You can't really rely on it, but it will one-shot most of these casters, which is handy when you're dealing with horse shit that can make you have a real bad day, like the sorcerers. Oops. Let's use this as sort of a ghetto kill hole. It's not perfect, but it'll do. I don't like the fact that I'm in here without enough MR, but the worst case scenario is I get Abyssed. Now, we did have a problem in Abyss a minute ago, but it was Abyss 3, and for some reason it was acting like Abyss 5. As long as that doesn't happen again, we should be okay. Identify. We don't have any identify. Hello, friend. Oh no. I don't want to get LCS for a bunch of damage. Okay, let's wear this thing. It's probably not cursed. It is cursed, okay. I'm still holding remove curse. I think I dropped my identify. I should have identified that, though. It could have been star drain, which would have been highly unpleasant. Yeah, voice, that's basically how I feel about it, is I wish I could live in a world like the one I grew up in where you could have a political disagreement with someone without hating their goddamn guts or trying to get them silenced. But social media has created this horrid world where you just, it really is a dark place where you say the wrong thing and then you've got a mob at your house, you know, trying to get you canceled, trying to get your career ended, trying to get you silenced, trying to get you kicked off the internet. Maybe they would even try physical harm. That has happened to people. And it's all treated, for some reason, this is all treated as something that's not dystopian, you know? For some reason, we act like this shit is just normal and not like the biggest problem, you know, facing Western civilization. I don't mind if somebody has left-wing ideas. That's fine, dude. That's not my actual problem. My problem is when you have hardcore authoritarian lefties in control of basically every space on the internet and in the justice system in some places in America, a lot of places in America, to where you have left-wing people committing felonies and not getting charged for it or getting a slap on the wrist, you know? There was a college professor who was running around hitting people on the head with bike locks, and he got like 3 months probation. You think that happens on accident? You think the same thing would have happened if he was right-wing? Hell no. Dude would have spent 30 years in prison minimum. And personally, I think you should spend a lot of time in prison if you hit somebody with a bike lock in the back of the head. That's called attempted murder, and it's very illegal, as it should be. I don't think that was the same guy, but maybe, Mr. Ostrom. I could say his name, but I don't know if I should. But I mean, I guess it's real easy to win a political debate when you can just silence the other guy, you know? It's real easy when you control all the gateways, you're holding all the levers, and that's why I say that the modern authoritarian left, I despise them, but I have to respect the fact that they have this incredible understanding of what power is. It's monstrous, but I mean they know how to win, you know. It's condenser vein. It's kind of funny that this guy has a spectral quarterstaff. He also has a necklace of bloodlust. Hopefully he swings at me and goes berserk. Okay, let's kill him real fast. Let's acid blast. Didn't work. Let's try the axe. We're attacking above speed 1, so it's actually best if I swing on him. Okay, that is the Amulet of Bloodlust. Now this is a really, really, really powerful amulet in terms of fixing your magic resist situation. It says Will++, but it's MR++ in the older versions, and that's what I'm going to keep calling it. The problem is that the Star Berserk is just so horribly dangerous that it creates a whole different kind of problem, you know? Let me, geez, what do I want? Surely nothing with clarity has spawned, I would have noticed. Yeah, I can't safely use it, you guys. I would love to, but really this is an item that exists. If you want to use it and be optimal, you basically have to be a ranged guy where Berserk doesn't happen, or maybe you could get away with it being a caster if you don't care about the Ent -3, and you could use it if you had clarity for some reason, or are worshipping Ashinsari, because then the Berserk doesn't happen. But as it stands, this character just cannot safely use it. So even though I would really like to have MR, that's not going to happen for me. Hey, we don't have enough digging. I don't know if you've noticed, I keep moving my dude to the corner like I'm going to make a kill hole, and then I realize, all right, Gamma Funk ruined digging. I don't have enough digging. Well, Zerk is fantastic, but you got to use it in the right situations, and having that taken away from me in terms of what choices I can make about when the Berserk happens is really quite dangerous, especially since I can get paralyzed, you know? Okay, Okay. Who is Ash? What are you? Oh, Ash and Zari, yeah. No, Ash and Zari is probably one of the most powerful gods in the current meta. Are you hasted? The fuck are you hasted for? What? He must have had a potion. That's horrifying. Yeah, 90... 102, 204. He can kill me. He can kill me right now. I think if I swing, I don't think he can get 2 attacks due to the speed of my axe, but this is... If only you were zerked. That would help here, or get me killed, one of the two. I think we have to use silence to be totally safe here. That sucks. I hate the fact that I have to do this, but it's the only safe thing because he's hasted. So we're just going to try to kill this stuff one elf at a time. Oh yeah, let me just use Scattershot. Yeah, that was a big player nerf, the removal of Scattershot. You have this thing that oh hey, it's that actually is Man memeing me. What's up, buddy? You missed the greatest political rant of all time. Bet you're sad. Give me a statement you believe in as a left-leaning person. Oh, you're talking to Strider. I mean, if Strider doesn't want to talk about that stuff, don't try to force him to. You know, like I said, people are welcome to have whatever beliefs they want. I just want to be able to voice mine too, that's all. Which I don't think is that wild and crazy of an ask, you know? He just hastes himself immediately. I went upstairs to avoid this, and he hasted anyway. Let's not get banished, please. Hey, cool. Like, I went up, I rested for the haste to go off. But yeah, it's perfectly legitimate if he doesn't want to talk about politics, you know? A lot of people don't, and I frankly don't blame him. But surely you can, you know, I'm hoping that you can commiserate or empathize with the fact that it's very hard for someone like me to have a space that is totally apolitical because it just keeps knocking on my door, basically. A petition to cancel Malcolm. Oh no! No, no, no! You wouldn't be the first person to do that if you weren't joking. There have already been many petitions of varying success. Like I said, you can't link to my content in the Roguelikes Discord because apparently I'm so evil. There's this whole laundry list of bullshit that PaWn has. He's the head mod there. Some kid. He made this sticky with a bunch of accusations about shit that I supposedly did, and like 90% of it is just made up, and the remaining portion is exaggerated. But of course I can't defend myself against it because I'm banned. See how that works? Okay, I'm a little butthurt. We've been in Abyss again, but we're in Abyss 2. We're in Abyss 2, so it shouldn't be as bad as it was before. No, we don't have our poise. Let's drink a curing. We have plenty. Kriya's mail coat. You know, I completely forgot the fact that Kriya's mail coat actually increases my healing. I should be abusing that, perhaps. No, I'm not banned from the Roguelikes subreddit, probably because I don't post there. I'm sure if I started posting there, they would immediately ban me just for the sake of it. If I did it regularly, even if I was like super nice, they would find an excuse to do it. This is unfortunately what people like that do. They read what you've written in the most uncharitable way they possibly can, and they make up an excuse post hoc to get rid of you. But yeah, I'm banned from the DCSS sub. I was talking about the DCSS, excuse me, the Roguelikes Discord, not the sub. No, I said Roguelikes Discord, unless I misspoke. Which is possible. One time I one time I misspoke and said I was talking about Zen, but for some reason I said Leo instead. I was like, yeah, Leo's a great god. Doesn't he? Was like, do not worship Leo. It's good advice. Do not worship Leo. The cacodemon is not digging at me. Good. Yeah, Leo is more like the prophet of Zen rather than Zen himself. Is Leo still around? I don't know. He's probably still writing stuff for that wacky blog that he runs. I don't think he's reviewing my runs anymore. How's the tourney going so far for me and my team? I mean, I'm playing like slow as molasses, basically. This is still my first game. I promised Man a streak of at least 10. As long as I get like a single game per day, roughly, it should be fine. As far as the team, I think we're still in first place. Our clan, the best clan. Wesley, you're not even a part of it, bro. You were in 0.24, though, and you streaked very well. Wesley actually is a great example of how it's possible to go from a complete and total newbie to DCSS within the span of a couple months to being a guy who can streak, how many games was it? 15? Condenser Vein memes me again, giving me Cloud of Gas versus the guy who's totally immune. Wesley does not have a 69 game streak. Never beat DCSS more than once? I assure you, you could get there if you just play slowly, carefully, you know, with presence. Right, let's leave. Don't abyss me again, bro. Look at this bullshit. We just missed like 30 billion times. Here we go. Necromancers are reasonably strong. I would say that having your first win as a Necro is pretty cool, though, because casters in general are far more difficult than melee. My streak doesn't count because no GR5. I don't know, Versailles, you missed some DCSS and you missed some politics. Now we're doing Elf, trying desperately to stop getting abyssed. As you can see, MR is just something we don't really need. Hey, Member 7, thank you for the follow, bro. We have -2 dex and -10% magic, which are things we don't really care about. CDDA. CDDA and DCSS are so different, since CDDA doesn't really have a win con, which is one of my big problems with it. It's like trying to be a roguelike, but not really, you know, it's more of a sandbox. It's okay for something to be a sandbox, but I feel like it's being pulled in so many directions. It seems curious to me to build a sandbox that is so sort of unforgivingly realistic, you know? And not even realistic, it's like more like their idea of realism rather than anything that's terribly consistent. But I could talk for a good long while about Cataclysm. Yeah, don't die to turrets. There's your win con. Oh god. I'm a genius. Oh no! Okay, so he just did his LCS. He can do 102. He cannot kill me right now. I think we're going to Condenser Vein. Please don't kill me instantly. Good. I don't want to Tremor Stones because I could actually take damage and die. I'm just going to swing, actually. Good. It's now safe for me to Tremor Stone, because he's not close enough to... He's not close enough to LCS me. And we had Blink to get us out of that situation if need be. Okay, this is a bit ugly. If I walk away, we could get memed on and dabbed on by Hellfire, so instead we just do Fog. And we melee this fella. gonna go up. Can you show us PA aptitudes? Here they are. It's just a melee dude, basically. You could pass him off as a caster as long as you weren't doing fire, ice, air, or well, you could probably make earth work. That's a big wall of text. Yeah, this is what happens when you have political discussions. You end up with text so big that it breaks my that it breaks my text alerts. But yeah, there's a reason we're really just casting Blink and nothing else. That and the fact our Wanderer did not start with any spells, so it is what it is. Okay. Yeah, the only rule of the Discord is follow terms of service and try not to get the place deleted. That was a nice scary pile of summons. Wow. Too bad we don't have more digging. If we had more digging, we could have a little more convenient. The fights would be a little more convenient here, but we really only have one digging. What is the worst starting class / race combo in your opinion? That's a good question. It used to be something with Chaos Knight, I'm sure. Probably either Spriggan or Felid Chaos Knight due to the low HP. Like, yeah, you're faster than stuff, but Zom can just kind of dump stuff on your face and kill you. However, now that Delver exists, which just kind of plunks you down on D5, you could make a really good argument for Delver being worse on certain species. Anything that has a really, really negative stealth aptitude. Believe it or not, I think Minotaurs do poorly as Delvers. It's one of the few things Minotaurs aren't best at. But I would probably pick, like, if it had to be a Delver, I'd have to say something like, probably not Ogre Delver because they have too much HP. Something with low HP and low stealth. I'd have to see the list of races and kind of think about it for a while. But yeah, it would probably be a toss-up at this point between some Delver and some Chaos Knight. Why is it trying to pick up Enchant Weapon? Hey! Splits76, thank you for the sub, man. I really appreciate that. R.I.P. old PogChamp. Oh, don't get me started again. It'll happen. That's how we got on politics in the first place. We found a few rings. Should I start it over from the beginning? I don't know, man. There's just this like special combination of vindictiveness and pettiness that I see in the powers that be these days that really just puts me in a bad mood, and it's hard not to rant about it, you know? It really is. Especially when it can affect your real life so much. Especially as someone who makes content. Those of you who don't want to hear about politics, believe me, I get it. You know, in my ideal world, I would never talk about politics because it's like not anybody's business what I think, and it's not my business what they think unless they want to share it. And most people aren't here to hear that kind of shit. And in an ideal world, I'd never mention it. I really wouldn't. Don't call it content, that's demeaning. What do you want me to call it? That's just like the Gestalt phrasing for it. I make stuff. I make things on the internet. It's demeaning, huh? I've never thought about it that way. It's kind of robotic, I guess. Manual of Air Magic, no. Oh shit, let's gosh, I don't want to be hit by both of these guys at the same time. Technically could have died there if they decided to do full damage both times. Rampage. That's a new type of armor. Unfortunately, it's +0, so there's no reason for us to use it. Oh yes, I make art on the internet. I mean, I do, you could consider the book that I wrote art, right? I'm working on a game, you could consider that art if it's, Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.